Hello all. Today's going to be a bit of an off video compared to my HSR and Woo ones. This is going to be talking about Etheria restart. So what happened with Etheria restart recently is a lot of bad stuff, right? There were a lot of nerfs going around for both SR units and SSR units. For SR units, it was like Marvel and stuff, right? SSR units recently, it was Shadow Sonya and Jada. Shadow Sonya's dot got massively nerfed, almost vaulted in Aurora, and you also had Jada, who could steal buffs, which was really good for Doki Doki, that also getting removed. Now apparently the devs did say that they didn't do this because the characters were too strong. They did it because it wasn't intended in the first place. Apparently you weren't supposed to be able to steal buffs in Doki Doki, and for Aurora, Dot was never supposed to work like well with her, right? So this entire thing went down. There weren't any resets, as compensation for people who already went super hard into these characters, and it sucked, right? It sucked. You're being punished for not even going into the most meta of characters. You're getting punished for going into a character that you probably liked, because Shadow Sonya, even though she is a light and dark unit, she is really not anything special compared to the rest of the light and dark units. Hell, I'd say even Didding currently has some insane levels of value, right? This guy's a SR, yet he completely destroys basically all the endgame content this game has to offer, right? And Didding was not nerfed, right? So this actually does make me believe that they weren't purposely targeting characters, and that it truly was a mistake that the bosses made it to live that way, and they weren't supposed to be like that, because Didding is still completely fine. However, it sucked, right? There was no compensation, there wasn't much communication, people put a shit ton of investment into these characters, and they lost that investment. And so people were quitting. A lot of videos have been made, fully understandably, but now they have responded. So their first most recent response was a 10 pull in return and confirming the double XP event at some point, I'm not sure. And then an even more recent announcement is that they are going to be allowing people to reset the characters who got shadow nerfed, right? Once again, I'm pretty sure this was just all bad communication, and they didn't actually just nerf these characters because they were good. They were nerfed because of their own mistakes on their own part. However, at the end of the day, the people who invested into these characters deserve the reset, and they're finally giving it to them. So truly a W at the end of the day. Everybody wins in this situation, and on top of that, everybody gets a 10 pull. Now they should 100% keep this same energy for future situations, and hopefully this wasn't a one-time thing to simply calm down the backlash, right? As you can see, I'm not someone who was affected by these nerfs at all, yet I decided I'd quit the game. The second I saw more characters being nerfed, I haven't touched the game in 2 days. I only just now re-logged back on because, devs listened, and so long as they continue to listen like this, I have no problem playing and supporting their game. As you can see, I'm unaffected. I got really fucking lucky. I have 4 light and dark units, and I have what's it called in this game? Well, I have 2 copies of this Didding, right? I have Freya, Rosa, Hellkid, Mio, Heinrich, Lily, Messiah, Didding, Lingluo, Sonya. Clearing endgame, all that should be a breeze for me once I get more investment into my characters. However, I really did not want to support a game that was going downhill. However, they redeemed themselves. I'm going to give this game another try. I'm going to keep playing it. It's nothing too crazy like I've said before. However, at the end of the day, I think it's good enough. And for a mobile game, truly, this is as convenient as it gets. It has a lot of QOL, a lot of pulls, and the way that they make money outside of, because you get so many pulls, how do they make money? It is these perfect lattices. These are incredibly fucking rare, and you get a huge boost at the beginning of the game if you're a whale who can actually buy all the packs and instantly progress way quicker to attain these. So in return for getting a lot of pulls and being able to afford a lot of characters, and there being guarantee, max 80 pity, no weapon banner, you do have like whales who have a much bigger advantage because they're able to much more easily fully invest in a multitude of characters, right? When you're a free-to-play, you need to be careful what you invest these into because they do not come by often. But that's all I have to say. Big ups to the Etheria devs for actually listening to the backlash and giving everyone a free reset who was affected. I will be giving your game another try, and I hope you guys can continue treating the game this way, right? Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.